Okay, hi. It's so nice to see everyone. My name is Danny Berkowitz, and I am the community manager at GlossGenius. I am thrilled to host tonight's program, which is designed to instill you with some confidence, some gumption, some self-worth. Give me some emojis if you are feeling that, and if that is why you showed up today. Okay, love to see it. Oh, I have a feeling we're not alone here. Hey, Barbette, it's so nice to hear from you. I love to see some familiar faces in our community. If you've just joined, my name is Danny Berkowitz, and I am the GlossGenius Community Manager. We're going to get started. I'm really excited to introduce you guys to Sydney Davis. Tonight, I just want to start off and invite each of you to share. Maybe there's one word that you can describe your vision for your thriving business. And if you have one of those words, throw it in the chat. I want to make this a place where we can feel seen, heard, and supported. Inspiring, impactful is what I'm seeing. Free, freedom, empire, worthy, success, confidence, abundance. Oh, it's going so fast. Abundance, success, abundance, blessed, confidence, inclusive, kingdom, fulfilling, peace, manifesting. This is incredible energy. You know, I hate to be that person, but I'm watching the Olympics right now. So I want to help us go for the gold. And there's so much opportunity for us to support one another. Blessed, divine, welcoming, successful, financially free, successful. Oof, yes, essence, I agree. Financially free, that is what we're here for. So thank you all for participating in that. I would love to introduce our co-host now. Sydney, why don't you join us on stage? Sydney Davis. Hey, how are you?
What is up, guys? Oh my God, I'm super, super, super excited to be on this call with you guys tonight.
Me too. I love your energy so much, Sydney, and it feels like a gift to our community that you're here tonight. Let me give a formal introduction, and then I'll pass the mic to you. For anyone who doesn't know, Sydney is an online beauty marketing expert. She works as a lash educator and business coach. She's also the podcast host of the Beauty Bitch Slap podcast. Tonight, there might be some adult content, so that's a warning. If you're driving the kids with your car as you watch this, we might be sharing some adult content or at least using adult language. So fear not, but become inspired by that. She is dedicated to helping beauty service business owners leverage the power of Instagram to launch, grow, and scale. If you are here tonight because you identify as someone who needs help with that, throw some emojis. Yes, we love to see it.
Yeah.
So
what's up, guys?
We are not alone here, Sydney. It is so wonderful to meet you. I think your methods of growing your own six-figure business and the frameworks that you used, I know they're based on real life experience. You have done this yourself. So you're speaking from the heart, but you're also speaking from wisdom. So I guess I would love to start tonight's conversation off with a question that came from our GlossGenius community, which is, please share with us what your career journey has been and how did you get in this business?
Well, first, before I start, guys, this is our first time ever virtually meeting, this is your first time seeing me. Hi, my name is Sydney Davis, and like what Danny said, I help and I want to help beauty service providers help grow and scale their business. And I'm super excited to be sharing and talking with you guys tonight. You know what, guys? It always boggles my mind to see what I'm doing and how I got in the beauty industry, because y'all, I never imagined any of this to happen. Like, this was the last thing on my plans, on what I was going to be doing with my life and with my career. But you know, I've always I've always had a passion for beauty. I was the type of girl that I would always have my nails done. I would need to have my hair done, my makeup done. You can count me to be that girl sitting at the back of science class doing her makeup, touching up her makeup, touching up her hair, and like not paying attention to like the important curriculum that I needed to know to graduate, right? So beauty was always a passion of mine, but I I never saw it as, something that I could make money off of, something that could be a full-time career. Um, and at around the time that I started, I would say what really changed, what was the first like seed that planted that was planted in me to that flourished all of this was literally back in 2018 when I was in junior high and I was selling lash strips from AliExpress, and I made those lash strips from a $2 sale, and I upsold it to my friends for 15-20 bucks, and I made some profit off it. That was like my first my that was like the start of my entrepreneurial journey. But even with that, that was just a side hustle, and I didn't think anything of it. I didn't think anything that could be anything more than a side hustle, because at that time, my passion, what I wanted to do, was dancing. Dancing was my life. I lived and breathed dance. I started dancing since I was 7 years old. I trained vigorously in hip hop. I competed, I did performances. Like, my dream for myself was to go to LA and be a professional dancer and work with artists such as, Chris Brown, Sierra, Usher, Missy Elliott, being a background dancer for them and having a career off that. That was my dream. But until in March 2019, that dream just came crashing down when I was at a dance competition and my left knee completely gave out. And come to find out later, I didn't think anything of it because I was still dancing when it happened. And I just remember ever since then, my knees just it got worse over time. And I never got it checked out, which was, my bad. I didn't take care of my body like I should have. And come to find out at a doctor's appointment, I completely ripped my ACL and some other major ligaments. My meniscus, my patella were completely shredded just after like the progression of me dancing on it. And I just remember the doctor telling me, like, you need to put an immediate stop, like an immediate halt on dancing, and so that we could get this fixed and we can get this recovered. And I remember that appointment, and that just absolutely crushed me. Like, it absolutely crushed me, knowing that I couldn't dance anymore. And ever since that appointment, and after that appointment, I just stopped dancing, and I slowly stopped dancing, for me to get my knee recovered. So that was, at that moment, that was my realization that, going through, if anyone has gotten like an ACL surgery and a meniscus surgery, I bet you guys can feel me on this. Like the recovery process was crucial, and it was brutal. Mentally, physically, emotionally, I was tested in every single area. And just going through that whole process, I started to realize that I was probably never going to get to where I was at when I was dancing. I was probably never going to get to the point where I could compete and dance. And, suffering this injury, it yeah, it tested me mentally, and it tested me so much. So I still had a little bit of hope while still, going through the process of trying to find a referral and getting a surgeon and going through the whole process. I still had a little bit of hope, like a mustard seed of hope, mustard seed of faith that I could still,
We're gonna
go into
dance together. I'm committed to this. As a former theater
take
kid,
hip-hop classes.
I was about to say, as a former theater kid, like, you can't pay me enough to not go to dance classes. I absolutely love that, and we'll have fun to do it. What was the aha moment that brought you to? I mean, from that point, it sounds to me like you hit rock bottom, and like there was no, it couldn't get worse. So in that time that you were recovering, How did you get from there to here?
So honestly, throughout that time of me recovering from my knee surgery, I honestly was just trying to find something to occupy my time with. Because at that time I was just getting into high school, and all my friends were getting jobs, all my friends were getting busy, and I'm like, I can't just be sitting around at home, not doing anything. So I was just trying to find something to occupy my time. Now, at the time, I was still selling lash strips on the side, but it was just here and there. And I think the aha moment was when I met this girl in high school, and I got introduced to her friend. Not a friend, her sister. I got introduced to her sister, and I remember seeing her sister on Instagram, and I immediately fell in love with her lifestyle. Like, I was obsessed with how she was living, what she was doing, what trips she was taking. And I just remember asking, like, what do you do and how can I do it? What are you doing and how can I do that? What do I need to do? What are you doing to make this kind of money to even sustain this lifestyle? And after hours of stalking, hours of becoming an FBI agent, come to find out she did lash extensions. And that was the first time I even heard of lash extensions. I was a strip lash girly at the time. I did not know what extensions were, and it was funny because with my dance team, with the girls, I had some older teammates on the team, and they all had lash extensions, and they always kept telling me, like, yo, Sydney, like, you gotta be put on the lash extension game. Like, lash strips are so outdated. And I'm like, those look like, why are they like permanent on your eyes? Like, no thank you, right? So that was the first time I found out about extensions. And after searching what extensions were, and especially the earnings, the potential earnings you can make off extensions, that's what sold me. I'm gonna be real with you guys. What really motivated me to get into my lash course was the money, the earnings, the freedom that you have, the potential earnings you can make off just doing lash extensions. So that's what sold me. And I wasted no time. I went on Google. I searched the first lash course I could find. I ran to my parents. I begged my parents day in and day out, hey, like, please, I promise you I'm going to make this big. And they came through for me, and they got me enrolled in the lash course, and I got certified in August of 2019, and it took me a good year to just even get the ball rolling in my lash business. From that whole 12 months of me getting certified, and then to me finally getting the ball rolling and finally getting clients. I kept quitting, I kept taking breaks, I kept getting discouraged, and especially because my biggest motivating factor was the money. That money was not coming in the first 3 months. Everything I thought would be happening, I thought I would have that lifestyle, I thought I would have that money by the first week after my course, and that did not happen. The reality hit me when my only two clients were my mom and my auntie. My lashes were not lasting even an hour after I applied them, and I was like, this is not the dream I expected. And so just after trial and error, I finally was getting self movement in my business. But even with that, I I still didn't even consider the fact that this could be a full-time career. This was still, to me, this was still something that I could just kill time with, so that I could get my surgery for my ACL, recover, and then go back into dancing. That was still my main goal. And I think the turning point that really made me realize that, damn, like, this could be something, is in March of 2019. I remember one of my high school friends, she saw what I was doing. She saw my lash business, and she asked me to teach her. And I was like, no, like, immediately I was like hesitant. I was just like so hesitant to be like, no, like, I cannot teach. I'm not a teacher. I'm not accredited. I'm not, I don't have enough experience. I'm still just building my lash business out. And after, like, back and forth, she was like begging me, like, please, like, your work is amazing, this and that. And after just kind of going back and forth, I was just like, you know what? Let me just try this out. I'm gonna just teach her the basic level technique of extensions just so she doesn't glue her client's eyes shut. She can properly apply extensions. I remember I created a very simple 30-page manual, just basic information. I just put together a mini toolkit, and I charged her $500 for 2 days of training with me at my house. And at that moment, when she paid me, I was like, that was so dope. The fact that I just made $500 in 2 days,
Oh,
that was so dope. And I
oh
was
my
like,
God, you're killing
okay,
me right
so
now.
just like this could be something. So that was, I would say, that was the turning point to where I really realized, okay, this could actually be a business. So then fast forward to July of 2020, I held my first ever group lash training. I opened up 5 spots for $6.97 a pop, and I sold out all spots. And just that whole summer of 2020, that was just what I was doing. I was training. I did 3 or 4 group trainings in July and August. And I started to make pretty good money off it. Profit, I was like taking home like 2 to 3K from each class, and that was, building up some. That was racking up some money on the side, and I was like, this is something. But taking July 2020, that was still in COVID. So during all of this, it was kind of navigating through all the restrictions. And I remember in September 2020, that's when the restrictions came back into play and harder than ever. And they just basically said, like, no more small group gatherings, no more gatherings at all. So that basically just kind of shut down my trainings at the time being, and I couldn't control that. So just from September of 2020 to about a year later, about a year after, just between that time, I took a step back over of trainings, and I was just focusing on school, and I was just still focusing on, building my clientele and still taking clients from my home studio with like all the restrictions in place. And it was like really slow at that time. And then fast forward, so that was September 2020, and then a year of just me focusing on school and just building my clientele. Fast forward to January of the beginning of 2022. In January, that was when I hit my second milestone in my business, and I was able to move out of my home studio and into my own studio in downtown. And ever since then, that I would say moving into my own salon suite, that was when I realized, like, this is something. This could be something for me. So that was my aha moment. And you know what? Like, this, ever since then, ever since moving into that studio, like, my business has just, skyrocketed. Ever since moving in there, I've been able to double my clientele. I've serviced over 250 plus clients. I got back into training, but I completely threw away my old training business module, like not module, model. I stopped doing group trainings at all, and I just focused on one-on-one training. So I was just offering one-on-one and semi-private lash trainings, and I've been able to mentor and coach over 10 plus one-on-one students, and they've been able to build their own booming lash business as well, and that just makes me so happy to see. In 2023, so last year, that's when I really started to pivot into being more of a beauty business coach to help other beauty biz owners outside of lashing. So I've been able to help girls who do waxing, body contouring, brows, teeth whitening, and just kind of helping them grow and elevate their business. And that's when I found my passion that I love helping people. I love helping people. I love teaching people. It's something I don't need to get paid for, honestly. I just love seeing other girls win and other girls thrive in their beauty business. And I just want to be, in any way, a vessel for them to, grow their own thriving beauty business. And just ever since then, I've also been able to, start hosting beauty mixers, which are basically just helping people in the beauty industry have a community of like-minded people who get it, who like know what it's like be a beauty service business owner, and just doing this as a one-woman show. And I've been able to host events in Calgary, in Toronto, and in Houston. And there's so many more events to come, which I'm so excited for 2024. And then I started my podcast, the Beauty Bitch Love podcast. That's just me sharing like all the realities of just going through this journey as well, and just for the soul, with the sole purpose of trying to aiming to help and inspire more beauty service business owners, and just reach as many of y'all as I can. I was gonna grab all of y'all and I'm just gonna share my journey. And I'm just currently in present moment, I'm still I'm building my business. I'm still expanding my business. I'm always actively seeking ways of how I could be a better business coach, and through all of that, also documenting my journey as well, because I'm still on this journey with you guys. I'm still building my business. I'm still learning the ins and outs. I'm still making mistakes. I'm still making failures. And, Danny, like when we were calling the other day, I love the term you said, running partner. I want to be your running partner. I want to be the person that like we're doing this together.
I told you I was watching the Olympics.
Yeah. So that's my story, that's my journey. And I'm just so excited to continue expanding my business and just trying to make a positive impact in the beauty industry.
Wow. Sydney, thank you for sharing your story. I had the pleasure of hearing it a couple days ago when Sydney and I were talking about what we wanted to cover on this call, but I successfully got chills twice. So thank you for inspiring me and everyone here. It's a gift that you're here. And I'm so happy that there are people in the industry who get to learn from you, and that we get to do that live together today. You did have some amazing shout outs in the chat. I do want to just say thanks to everyone who's participating. And we had a couple questions. We can get to those questions at the end of the call. If you could type in all of your questions in the question tab so that they're super easy to capture, we will make sure that we hit them later. Well, Sydney, I feel like I could spend hours on my couch talking to you, clinking wine glasses, and just like listening to you speak because you're so inspirational. I really want folks to walk away tonight with an understanding of how they can make these moves in their own businesses confidently. And so today we're going to hop on to do a couple moments. Let me put this up here so that it's easy to see. So Sydney and I are going to go through a couple moments tonight. We're going to have a mindful icebreaker that is like no other icebreaker you've done before. We're not here to find out what your favorite ice cream flavor is, although I do actually want to know that. But this is really helping us identify what do we want, and not just what we want, but what do we want? What do you want? We're going to break down what a six-figure business actually means, because there's a lot of fluff around that, and we want to understand what is our why and the who as well. We're going to talk about 6 steps to 6 figures and give you tangible reminders that you can put in your pocket or make your iPhone background, or print it out and put it on the mirror in your booth, whatever you like. This is going to help you tackle the how super confidently. And then we will finish with a fun vision boarding activity for anyone who is needing a little bit of a mid-year check-in, spruce up, soul cleansing moment to think about how are you going to hit your goals to make a 6-figure business. Amazing. So let's get started. Do me a favor. If you are sitting down, plant your feet on the ground, roll your neck, get a little comfy. If you're sweeping the store, stop for just a moment and take a moment for yourself. Close your eyes. Think of the unknown and ask yourself, what do you want? Do you want this 6-figure business, or does someone want it for you? You know, we can all say that we want a 6-figure beauty business, but what exactly? does that look like for you? Ask yourself, what do those days look like? How do you want to be spending your mornings, your afternoons, your evenings? Think about what Sydney just mentioned. She saw someone who was living the life she wanted to live. The who is just as important as the what and the how. How many clients are you taking per day? Do you have other streams of income? How much money are you making weekly, daily, monthly? Ask yourself these questions, and you don't have to have the answers right now. And you also don't need to answer them in order to achieve your goals, but they might be really helpful ways for you to check in with yourself. So let's break down what is your why and who. So I'm sure people have always said, find out your why. What is the meaning behind what you do? Why do you get up in the morning? Why do you put in so much work, so much effort of your craft, your literal hands going into this work? Sydney, I'd love for you to give us that permission for our brain to think of that, and clarify, what do we want out of our routine, and just having that crystal clear vision. What would you say about that?
So when me and Danny were, meeting up before this call, and we were talking about what we want to talk about, I was really wanting to narrow down and get specific on 3 questions you want to ask yourself before even thinking about how to build a 6-figure business. And that is, number 1, what do you want? Who, not how, and why does it matter? You see, when Danny was asking you guys, what do you want? When you are asked that question, what's happening and what you are allowing your mind to do is you are allowing your mind to think of any possible thing you want, of the unknown. And what happens is that when people ask us what do we want, we say the obvious. We want $1 million. We want a 6-figure beauty business. We want to be booked and busy. We want to have fully booked days and fully booked weeks and fully booked months. But what exactly is that for you? And the reason why I am emphasizing you is because sometimes people mistake what they want for what other people want for them. So we can all say we want a 6-figure beauty business, but is that what you want? Is that what you want people to see from you? Is that what your parents want from you? Is that what your friends want from you? Is that what any other outside influence wants for you? So before we even move forward with trying to figure out our why, really get clear on what it is that you want and make sure that no outside influence is affecting that answer for you.
Absolutely.
When you get clear on your goal and when you get clear on what it is that you want, now you got to ask yourself, okay, why does it matter? Why does it matter for you to have a 6-figure beauty business? And the one thing I want to add to that, when it comes to figuring out your why, this process is going to be messy. Trying to identify your why is going to be messy. And the one thing I've learned is that figuring out your why is something you will always actively seek in your business. It is not just a one-time thing. It's not just a one-time thing you ask yourself and you write it down the board. You
Right.
must always actively look for the deep core rooted reason as to why you want this business, why you want a 6-figure business. Because a lot of the times we identify the surface level reason why, but we want to find the underlying reason why. Because guys, your why is what's driving you. Your why is what's fueling you towards your business. And your why needs to be so strong. Your why needs to be rock solid that nothing can break it. Nothing can get in your way of you and this goal. Because what happens is when we start building our business and we start working towards our business, we're going to be faced with problems, obstacles. what I like to say is like, as soon as you even start this path, as soon as you even declare to the universe that you want to start this path, that's when the shit starts knocking at your door. As soon as you decide, that's when the shit starts knocking at your door. So your why needs to be so strong that it breaks through all the adversity. It breaks through all the problems. It breaks through all the obstacles. And the one thing I'm going to say too is that this is going to take a lot of time for you to figure out. Because if you ask yourself what's your why and you get an instant answer, half of the time that may not be the actual reason why. I want to share an exercise you guys can do to help you figure out your why. So when it comes to figuring out your why, I like to identify two types of whys: my internal why and my external why. So you can do this right now if you get a piece of paper, or this is homework for you after this call. But what you can do is you get a piece of paper, and I want you to make two columns. One's going to be internal and one's going to be named external. You see, your internal why, that's going to be what's motivating you inside, from the inside. And how this may look like for some of you guys, it may be your kids, it may be your family, it may be your parents, it may be your faith. You want to provide your kids an amazing life. You don't want them to see them struggle. You don't want to tell your little girl or your little boy that you can't afford what it is that they want. Even your family. My internal why is my family. I want to be a provider for them. I want to take care of them. I want to retire them. Honestly, my whole entire business, I wouldn't know what I would do without my parents' support. They are what really drove me. They're what really supported me through all of this. So I want to give back to them. I want to retire them. I hate seeing my mom, worried about bills. I hate seeing my mom stressing about the money coming in. It's something I don't like seeing. So I want to be at a place where I'm able to provide for them, and I'm able to retire them. And whatever they need, I got them. Whatever they want, I got them. I want to, one day, in God's will, buy my mom her Range Rover, or buy my dad his beach house in LA. So that's your internal why. Your external why, this one is going to be personal. This one is completely for you. What do you want out of this? What do you want for yourself? And a question that can help you answer that is literally asking yourself the opposite. What do you not want? For me, I don't want for myself, and what I never want to have to happen, is to be in a position where I need to work a 9 to 5, where I'm chained to a desk and chair, where I'm literally glued to a computer screen and working 12, 14-hour days and absolutely dreading life. I do not want that for myself. And another thing is that your why, when you figure out your why, it must create a feeling inside of you that is so passionate, that it's literally burning inside of you, that the literal fact of you even thinking of not even achieving this goal, it makes you sick. It makes you sick to your stomach. You can't have any other circumstances to happen other than this desired outcome. So when you figure out that why, now it's asked, who do you have to become? Because the person watching this webinar, the person watching this event right now, is not the person you need to be in order to get that 6-figure beauty business. The person I am today, I was not that person in 2019 when I got certified. That girl, Sydney in 2019 versus Sydney now are completely different. Yep. do you have to become? Meaning, what type of habits, what type of behaviors do you have to stop doing? And what type of habits and what type of behaviors do you have to start doing in order to become that person? So when you guys are figuring out what it is that you want, also figure out who is a person you want to become and get very clear on her. Like up till what are you wearing? What type of style are you dressing as? Are you dressing classy? Are you dressing, with some street style? Are you dressing with sweatpants and shorts? Do you want to dress, with like all dresses and, designer bags and everything? What type of routines? Like what's your morning routine? Are you waking up at 5 a.m.? Are you doing ice baths? Are you doing showers? Are you doing meditation? Are you doing Pilates? Like, get super specific on who you want to become during this entire process.
I think that's the scariest thing sometimes is just to say, yeah, I do want that. I do want to become that. Or maybe even, dang, I got to change that. I have to work on that.
Your goals need to scare the living shit out of you. It needs to scare the living shit out of you, but also excite you. And if it's not doing both of that at the same time, then your goal is not big enough. Dream farther, dream bigger. Like literally, like when you think of that goal, you're like, oh shit, that's scary, but it's like, oh shit, that's super exciting. So that's what I want to add to that. So yeah.
This one's for you, Mia Pittman. I love that you said my first time with this, and wow, I'm just glad I decided to listen. Yes, hardest part is showing up. Thanks for doing that. Everything else is going to be easy from here on out. All right, Sydney. I think next step, everyone's hungry for this. They're like, okay, I've got my why. I know who my who is. How do I do that? And so we want to help encourage you to feel confident as you are making these moves. And let's say, you don't need to boil the ocean. Let's work on one thing at a time. And we've broken down some really easy reminders for how you can get to six figures. And we're going to talk through each of these, but these are like pocket learnings. Stick it print it out, take a screenshot, make this your phone background, like whatever you need to do, pull out a note, write it down. For anyone out there, sometimes I can't remember something unless I physically write it. This is your rubric for how to get to this next step. And we worked with Sydney to identify these, but I also encourage you to come up with your own steps as well. What is your special flair and what is going to take your business to that next level? It could look different for someone else. But Sid, I think we should talk through each of these. Let's start with goals. What is your advice for how to translate ambitious goals and making your personal mission and your why into a viable business plan? Because I know we talked about like you have to think it, believe it, see it, manifest it, all the above. And I know that it's more than that too. So what is your advice for someone who wants to like translate these ambitious goals and put it into action?
So my first advice I would say is that planning out your problems is just as important than planning out your business. Y'all, let's address the elephant in the room. We all love to be our own boss. We love to be our own, beauty boss. But damn, does we experience a lot of BS, a lot of problems, problem after problem after problem after challenge after obstacle arises on the surface every single day. And, with all of that, being faced with all that adversity, that's out of our control. We don't know what type of adversity we're going to face in our business. We don't know what type of problems we're going to face. We don't know what type of obstacles. And usually, what happens is that we let that discourage us. So when I say that planning out your problems, I literally mean that even though we can't control what type of problems we're going to be facing, the next best thing is to just plan it out. Literally plan out the BS before the BS starts knocking on your door. So at least that you're not surprised when when it comes. Just you're not surprised when it happens, and of course it's unpleasant to deal with, but as long as you have a game plan to help you get through dealing with the BS and dealing through the adversity.
Yep.
So I know, Brielle, can you give an example? So how I like to do this, a framework I like to do this is by doing OPUS framework. So this is something I like to use. OPUS stands for outcomes, problems, obstacles, solutions. So how you can literally plan out your problems and plan out your BS is by using this framework. So another homework you can do is get a piece of paper and create 4 different sections, and each section would be your outcomes, your problems, your obstacles, and your solutions. So literally with outcomes, this is where you would list all of your long-term goals, all your long-term visions. What do you want? This is where you would put what do you want and write down what's your long-term goals. Next, it would be the problem. So you thinking, what are all the possibilities? What are all the problems that may come to the surface when I start this path? The same thing with obstacles, and these obstacles can be mental obstacles, emotional obstacles, mental blocks. What are some limiting beliefs that you have right now that are stopping you from starting this path? Those are going to be your obstacles. And then you just make solutions for those problems and for those obstacles. When the one thing I like to take with me is that when faced with adversity, you can either let adversity break you or shape you. So I believe that when you plan the BS, you plan the shit before the shit starts coming up. When you have a game plan, that is what's helping you set up yourself to let this adversity shape you and not discourage you, not let it get the best of you, not let it break you down, but literally build you up. And another thing I want to add to that is when you're planning out your outcomes, your problems, your obstacles, and your solutions, even throughout your journey, when you are faced with a problem that you didn't really think of, you can go back to this framework and you can add it to your framework, just so you have a tool to help you get through it the next time it arises.
Yep.
So number one, my advice would be plan out your problems. Use this OPUS framework and take it to your advantage. That as you use it as like a roadmap and a guide map for when all this BS starts happening. The second thing I would say is when you figure out what this ambitious goal is, detach yourself. Immediately detach yourself from it. And what I mean by that is that detach emotion from it. Because what happened, like what we tend to do is that when we create these big goals for ourselves, we attach emotion to it. When we think of this goal, we get excited, we get pumped, we get amped, we have this anticipation, and we now have this flame under our ass to now take immediate action. But what's happening is that
what do you do?
Yeah, now you're attaching yourself to that outcome. So what happens is that you have that result, you have that outcome inside your head. Any other outcome beside that, any result that's not that result is going to not make you feel that way. It's not going to make you feel those feelings. When you are faced with adversity, you're going to get discouraged because that's not getting you towards that result.
Yep.
So what I mean by detaching yourself, what I like to say is that detach yourself from the long-term goal, but maintain the long-term vision. when you maintain the long-term vision,
One more time for
that's
the
gonna
people in the back. One more time for the people in the back. That was so good. Can we say that one more time?
detach yourself from the long-term goal, but maintain the long-term vision. So when you maintain that vision, that will help you navigate through the challenges. That's gonna navigate you through all the obstacles, and what's gonna keep you focused.
Yes.
And when you detach yourself from the long-term goal, what that's helping you do is that's still helping you create measurable, sustainable action steps that you can still take while still maintaining that long-term vision.
Yep.
So just to recap, number one, plan your problems out, and number two, detach yourself from the long-term goal. And again, that's going to help you in so many ways. When I learned that, like that really helped me. Because for example, like I was so set on the long-term goal, which was hitting 100K in my business. That was like me trying to eat an elephant in one big sitting.
Yep.
That was me trying to take giant steps to 100K, and that was not realistic. That was not measurable. That was not sustainable.
Yep.
Whereas you break it down and then, okay, 100K is a long-term goal, but in bite-sized pieces, I can do 30K. Okay, when I get to 30K, now it's 40K. 40K, now it's 50K. And now I'm just set on stone on just hitting 50K and 60K and 80K. And what I'm really doing is just like climbing the ladder, but still focusing step by step. And then eventually you'll get to 100K. So
Absolutely.
it's not just like, yeah, don't eat the elephant all at once. Take baby steps. take babies, but baby bites.
or just know where to get the knife and fork. Because
Yeah.
as long as you have the right tools in your pocket to make that, your goals are attainable and achievable. So speaking of tools, I want to make sure folks get this in their pocket. I know some folks were asking for the slide deck after the fact. We're going to send a recap out tomorrow. Stick to the end of this call because we are going to share a giveaway for one lucky winner to get a coaching session with Sydney to talk more about this, specifically about their business. So let's go through the 6 steps. So Sydney, do you want to read them out for us so that folks can listen, mobilize, and be inspired?
Yes. So 6 steps to 6 figures. Number 1, set smart goals. Number 2, know your key metrics and goals. Number 3, be honest, do the math. Number 4, boost your bottom line. Number 5, create loyal client relationships. And number 6, build your brand authentically.
Mm-hmm. And those are things that we say a lot at GlossGenius because, community over competition, building your brand authentically. This is what we know and believe that our community has expressed time and time again is like, how do I set this up so that I'm living my dreams, not someone else's, like we were talking about earlier. So setting those SMART goals, maybe it's an actual SMART acronym, SMART, or maybe it's the OPUS framework that Sydney was talking about. As far as like knowing your key metrics and goals, this is really important to generate that income, but also track your expenses. Know what your costs are. Like we were talking about earlier, it's not just about 6-figure earnings, it's about a 6-figure sustainable business. So where do those earnings go to make sure that you can continue to keep the lights on and focusing on those profit margins? As far as like being honest with yourself, I think it's really about setting those attainable goals, but then also knowing your analytics. And I'll just say this. I am not a math person. I prefer when a robot does math for me, whether it's a calculator or ChatGPT. And I know I'm not alone. There's lots of ways for us to work smarter, not harder when it comes to understanding our analytics. Something that we offer at GlossGenius is that we've got your back when it comes to setting, tracking, and reaching your earn goals. This is not just something that we offer within our app in our goal setting feature, but it's something that our support doesn't really stop there. We're also going to prompt you with ideas and tools that can help you be creative when you're imagining your business. Maybe you're using Genius AI, which is our AI tool, so that you can think creatively about a business that you've never even dreamed of before. And like something that I think that's really important in terms of boosting your bottom line is expanding your services, knowing where are you leaving money on the table. Maybe there's add-ons, upsells that you can work on. And Sydney, I know this is relevant for your lash business. This could be relevant for hair. Maybe you're offering high value services like balayage, keratin treatments, doing head spa add-ons. I know that these trending services are also a really great way for you to promote those services as well. Using your marketing tools, whether you're doing that yourself or you're relying on a booking site and email and marketing tools like GlossGenius. But either way, streamlining all of that is really the key. And I think when you streamline your business, it's not only helpful for you, it's also helpful for your clientele. And that means new people who have never met you before, and that means the person that's in your chair every Monday getting their hair set. It could be your loyal clients as well as your potential new clients as well. So make sure that you get those reviews. And I really think like when you're optimizing your scheduling, that it's really important to plan your yearly goals, brainstorm what you can do, maybe around a holiday season. Think about that work-life balance. What are things that you need to fulfill the brand that is as authentic to you as possible? So I did want to share that. And if you haven't tried GlossGenius before, I'm going to share a link now that allows you to sign up for a 2-week trial. And this will be a really great way for you to begin. We just launched our goal settings app, or goal settings feature, which is clutch for you. Maybe you're starting or you're just sprucing up your business mid-year way through. Okay, Sydney, something that I really want to get into, we'll run this for the next 10ish or so minutes, and we'll go into questions right after. Is we're going to work on a vision boarding activity. So we're going to play some music and give you a chance to do some vision boarding, or even just like writing down your next business mission, or what are those goals? Maybe you're doing that homework that Sydney was talking about earlier when it comes to really knowing your why. What are the things that you're putting into your business to get out? Sydney, we do have several questions. I hope that you can stay a little longer on the call. If you asked a question tonight, I know that we wanted to get you a chance. We're not going to be able to answer all of the questions that came through, but we'll work with Sydney to answer these and share it in our follow-up tomorrow so that you get the answers that you're looking for. So one of the questions that I see here that I wanted to share is, what should I focus on now before starting my next rental at a new suite? So what are some of the things that I should be thinking about as a business owner before I make a transition into a new chapter of my business?
I would say focus on building your client relationships. Especially with the beauty business, we have to understand what a business is, and a business is relationships. And especially as beauty service providers, we are heavily reliant on the relationships we build and the personal connections we build with our clientele. So during this transition of you moving in, it's gonna be bumpy. You're gonna lose some clients, but you're gonna gain some clients. So my advice to you is to just focus in on how you can solidify your relationships with your current clientele right now. That was something that I focused on, and what really changed the speed of how fast my business was growing. And guys, I'm gonna tell you this, like, I was not the best lash tech, like, I'm good at what I do, but I wasn't the best in the game. But I was still able to get fully booked off even 5 clients, because with those 5 clients I made sure I wanted to deposit as much as I can into them. And something I want to tell you guys is that the more you deposit into your clients, the more you can withdraw out of them. So if you put in great customer service, you show them, you consistently show them that you prioritize their satisfaction over how much money they're paying you.
Yep.
If you know, give them exceptional service, you give them exceptional customer service, and you keep depositing into them, you can ask for the testimonials, you can ask for referrals. And even like by building one good solid relationship with one client, they can give you their mom, they can send you their auntie, they can send you their sister, they can send you their cousin, their
Absolutely.
second cousin, their third cousin, and then boom, you have, from that one client, you have 5 new clients.
Yep.
So focus, like really ask yourself, okay, what strategies, what can I work on, what can I improve that will really improve my customer service, that can really improve, that I can get my client feedback. And when you do that, when you do that, and building those relationships, your clients will follow you anywhere you go.
Yep.
So it would make that transition not as bumpy for you.
Yep.
So I would say one thing you should focus on right now is to just really get really know how to build your clientele, your client relationships.
That leads me into a great question that we have next, which is, what is the best way to gain new clientele, in your opinion? I know we were going to talk about your social media masterclass tonight, and it would be awesome if you could walk us through some of the pinpoints that you think about when you are creating your social media calendar. Is that how you've achieved gaining all of your new clients? I know you were talking about like referrals and friends of a friend, but when you're putting yourself out there to get new clients, what do you believe is the best way to do it?
So one method that really helped me is to just take model calls. And what these model calls was that I would discount a full set of lashes, and I would discount it at maybe 70, like 60 to 70 bucks, a pretty discounted rate from the original price. And what I would do with that is I would get them in as a model call, but in return, I would ask for 2 testimonials, a written testimonial and a video testimonial. A video testimonial is really going to set the edge off for your beauty business. The best way to gain clientele is literally getting as much social proof. That's reviews, that's testimonials, that's client pictures. So with every model, I would ask them for a ton of social media visibility. I would ask them for a Google review. I would ask them for a video testimonial, and I would give them a referral promo, to where if they send me a client, I will give them either 50 bucks credit off any service, or a good discount off any service, a good referral program. So I've just focused on getting all of that, as much testimonials, as many reviews as possible, and then you just send it out. Because the one thing about having a beauty service business, people will not go to you if you are not good, if you don't have any social proof, if you don't have any social work.
Right.
So, and
The
sometimes,
first thing we do is find out what have other people said.
yeah, and I know some people get so caught up, and like some people say like, oh, like never discount your services, oh, never discount your full sets. But what's the return on that investment?
Yep.
I'm still, I'm not losing any money. I'm still, that's still covering all the materials, all the supplies I've used. But now on top of that, I have so much social proof. I have so much testimonials I can just post every single day on my stories, and use that as bait, as like I call it, bait to book new clients. So just how you look at it, it's what's really going to set the difference on how it's going to build your business.
Amazing. We had a question. You may have answered this already, but I just wanted to say thanks to Vanessa for writing this. And we had other people basically upvote this and make sure that we know that lots of people are asking this question, which is, how do I market myself well on social media without falling into the hole of being a beauty influencer or famous on social media for beauty videos?
That's a great question.
Because we all know
Um,
we've got them flooding our feed all the time. Like, how do we differentiate ourselves from people who spend 24 hours a day making these things happen?
so I would say, number one, when it comes to social media and when it comes to, figuring out how to differentiate, it's a hard word to say, differentiate, I give up, that from the crowd.
Yep.
That's just you finding any gaps in the market. A piece of advice I would say to help you separate yourself, especially nowadays where there's like millions of other beauty service providers on Instagram. And
Yep.
I know, I feel you, girl. I don't want to be dancing on camera. I don't want to be, that doing all that influencer stuff. But, find a problem,
Yep.
find a solution you have to a problem, find your target audience and specifically hit them,
Yeah.
specifically hit their pain points, specifically hit what they need help on. And don't focus so much on hitting every single person, because you're not going to hit every single person. You're going to hit a specific group of people.
Yep.
So when you figure out what is a gap in the beauty market, in the beauty industry that you can fill, what is something what is a solution you have that other people need, and you get clear on who is that group of people, then you can create a plan to specifically hit them with your content, meaning specifically hit them with their pain points.
Yep.
What are they struggling with? How do they feel? Relate to them. And when they start to feel and when they start to build a connection with you, then they want to do business with you. People do business with people. People do business with people that they know, that they like, that they trust, and that they can relate to, that they know that they can connect to on a deeper level. And when you can successfully do that, you are gonna they're gonna see you as an authority. They're gonna see you as a person they want to go to help them with their problems, and not everybody else on social media.
Oof. Preach. I mean, let's just acknowledge the truth, which is that you're doing the Lord's work. Each of you are supporting not only your craft, but you're supporting people, and I love that. People support people. I'm about to start singing Barbara Streisand. People. All right, that's it. See, you stick with the six figures. I'll be on stage. Sydney, you have answered these questions so eloquently, and I feel like we could continue talking about this forever. If you
Yeah.
enjoyed tonight's program and you are resonating, feeling at least a little stronger in your business tonight, throw me some emojis. Oh, I see some thumbs up already. Amazing. If you are feeling confident in setting goals to build a six-figure business, type yes in the chat. Yes, I love to see it. Sydney, you have inspired an army of people. GlossGenius is an amazing solution. There's a reason why we're the best in the biz, and we offer so much and really are community first here. So please reach out to me, Danny. I'll put my email here so that you can reach out to me if you have any questions. Yes, Lindsay, who run the world? Let's go. I love it. I'm so happy to hear that. And if this is your first or your 50th Gloss Genius community event, thank you for being here. It's been an absolute pleasure. We are so happy to provide these kinds of programs. If you have ideas or requests for the kinds of conversations we should be having in this space, please send me an email. I would love to collaborate or to hear or to even just fill that need for you. We are here for you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Alexis, I loved Leticia. I'm so happy that you're here for your first event. We're really happy to have you here. Sydney, I cannot thank you enough. Thank you so much for joining us and staying longer than we expected to answer everyone's questions. We will work to answer as many as we can in the next couple of days with our follow-up. So thank you and have a wonderful evening, everyone. And don't forget, you can do this.
You can do this, guys.
Thank you so much, Sydney. Have a great night.